This podcast is part of the Soul Zone Network.
Hello, and welcome to the Butterfly Connection.
Connecting your soul to source with Molly Rahe-Randall and Sara Courtney.
We are all connected, and we are not alone. What if you could rebirth your soul, gain movement in your life, and reconnect with your authentic self?
Join us each week as we connect with Source to answer the burning questions that lie deep within us and gain clarity and wisdom to soar to our greatest potential.
It's time to fly.
This is BK14, Living from the Heart Center. Hello. It's Molly and Sara.
Hi, everyone.
We are back again, and we are so glad that you are tuning in to listen to us yet another week. We know we've had quite the conversation about feelings here the last couple weeks, so I'm really excited for what we're going to be talking about today, and I'm going to turn that over to Sara so she can get you started.
Yes, so we truly hope that the last two podcasts have been helpful to you, because once you really feel, once you have gotten to that point where you can acknowledge the emotions that you have, feel them, release them, allow joy to come in, allow happiness to come in, and have really switched your vibration by saying thank you when things might not be going our way, it's important to know that in all of this, like we've talked a lot about what's the purpose? Why are we all here? And when I tune into spirit, the answer is always the same. It's love. We are beings of love. We exude it. We feel it. We show it. We say it. We do it in so many beautiful, amazing ways. Yet, for a lot of us, it seems difficult to find sometimes because we get caught in all of the other stuff and feeling stuck and not able to move forward in our lives and in our spiritual growth. So right now, I'd like to do a visualization with you to help you get to what I'm going to call the heart center of the matter. It's getting out of our brains. It's getting out of, oh, what do I have to do tomorrow? Or what do I have to do before I go to bed tonight? You know, that inner list we all have. So what I want you to do right now is visualize that list in your mind. And you're literally going to pick it up and you're going to throw it. You can throw it in fire, you can crumble it up in a ball and throw it away, or you can stick it in a drawer. Whatever you need to do, imagine that list and just imagine it disappearing. And then the next thing I want you to do is imagine a really, really long staircase going down. And you're going to take a hold of the banister and you're going to allow yourself to walk down those steps. So you're walking out of your brain, you're walking down the steps, and at the bottom, I want you to imagine what your heart looks like. Is it big? What color is it? Or it could just be a piece of paper with a heart written on it. Whatever it is, whatever you view your heart to be, I want you to walk down those stairs to it. And then I want you to imagine that when you get to the bottom of the steps and you see your heart there, that there's a door in what you are visualizing. And I want you to open that door and I want you to walk in. And now I want you to imagine yourself walking into the most amazing, tangible, take your breath away kind of love. I want you to breathe it in. I want you to hear what it sounds like. I want you to see it with your eyes, feel it on your skin. What does love mean to you inside your heart? And then I just want you to live there as we continue on in this podcast. So now you're in your heart. And when you can find yourself living or coming from a place that's in your heart, you can start to view the world differently. You can start to view people differently. You can start to view yourself differently. Because when we all pass from this life, we are no longer flesh. We're no longer bone. We are exactly what you just imagined. Love. So it's such a powerful, powerful thought. Because if you also can imagine what it would be to meet Source or to feel Source, whatever you just felt is Source. The beating heart that's within us is our connection to each other. It is our connection to Source, and it is our connection to our soul. And that is what allows us to be everything that we have ever wanted to be, everything that we have always been, and everything that we will be. And that is love. And in this day and age, there is nothing more that I wish for this world. Because if you could view life through the rose-colored glasses of love, imagine what this world could be. And we are all capable of it. If only we can feel our feelings and find joy, and then send out all of that into the universe and let it come back to us tenfold.
Thank you so much for that visualization and sharing all of that wonderful wisdom with us. So, speaking of love, ask yourself this: how much do I love myself? Do I love myself enough? Can I love myself more? If the answer is yes, I can love myself more, have you thought about things that you could do to allow yourself to love yourself more? And I'm going to give some suggestions from my perception and things that I try to do. And I would love it if you have some other ideas to pop over to our Facebook page, our group, The Butterfly Connection, so that we can all share in the ways in which we love ourselves, as I feel like everyone's idea and what they do could be so helpful to everyone to see and hear and read. But for me, I do try to ask myself, how can I come to this situation in a loving way? So many times when we have situations in life, how we react to them says a lot about how we love ourselves. And if we're maybe in a situation where something's not going the way in which we want it to, do we love ourselves so much that we can see the bigger picture? That perhaps that this is just the way that the situation is going to be going and it's not what's in your mind? Or is there something within ourselves that is so unhappy that we're unable to even see the positive in the situation? I know another thing that I do is I try to do some self-care, and we've talked about this before in other podcasts. I try to either meditate or even something as simple as stretching my body, honoring my body and stretching my body, taking care of my body, eating foods that I know make me feel better, as opposed to eating things that I might not feel as well. Salt baths. I try to do that. I really need to do a better job more often of doing salt bath. Even Reiki, giving Reiki to myself, sound healing to myself, or going downstairs and playing my violin, something that brings me joy, that I can connect to my heart with, and I can show who I am, and I can show my heart. I think a lot of times, speaking of showing our hearts, we can be very fearful of showing our hearts to the world, as we are afraid of being judged, or maybe not being loved enough by others, or others not viewing us in the way we know we are. But if we're not fully opening our hearts to them and fully loving ourselves so much that people can see the love that we have for ourselves, then they're missing a piece if we're not giving that to them. And I think that's where a lot of like judgment can come into play. If we're not really showing them our hearts and the love we have for ourselves, then people cannot fully see us for who we are.
Yes, absolutely. And the more that we honor ourselves and love ourselves and learn to love ourselves, the more we can truly be our authentic selves. And as Molly is saying, yes, we absolutely are fearful of this because of being judged. However, if we all collectively lived in our hearts, we would have the capability of showing compassion, showing no judgment, having empathy for others. And I think a really important question to ask is, how does our love help affect the world? How does our love help to change the world? And I'm not talking about on a large scale here. I'm talking about any interaction that we have with any one person in a day. In how we react, if we come from a place of love, we could very well change that person's day. So love is as powerful as we want it to be if we believe in it. We cannot believe in it unless we are exuding it and truly having faith in it. Because in my experience, to really truly feel love, there is no room for anything else. If you are 100% completely washed in it, there is no room for hate. There is no room for sadness. There's no room for any of that stuff. Pride, greed, there's no place. And if all of us could come from our heart, we could eradicate that. And that might seem like a pretty lofty thought. But every time I tune into Source and I ask about love, this is the message that I get. And so if millions and millions and millions of us could be in our heart for 1 second of every day, we could all make a massive difference and shift. But it has to start with the belief.
Yes. And I really feel too, any situation we're in, if we are able to come from a place of love, if we are really able to reflect and think about, what does that look like? How do I react if I come from a place of love? How would I word my sentence in speaking to somebody if I'm coming from a place of love? How do I support myself when I am coming from a place of love? There is no room for self-doubt, self-pity when we are showing self-love. If we are coming from a place of self-love, then we are going to support ourselves. We are going to support one another. We are going to uplift ourselves, which then allows us to uplift one another. And it's beautiful and it can happen. And we can all do this. Is it easy to come from a place of love at all times? No. Do Sara and I come from a place of love at all times? Absolutely not.
No.
We are human. we are human. But we know that when we drop into our hearts and we come from a place of love, we know how amazing that feels.
Because we are in the space that we were always meant to be, doing the things that we have always been needed to do. And there is nothing more in this world right now needed than love and compassion and empathy. And I don't think it's too much to ask to come from a place of love, even if it's once a day, because every single little bit will make the difference.
Absolutely. So for this week, we want you to sit in love, experience love, feel love. Ask yourself the next time you're in a situation where you may feel like blowing up, how can I come from a place of love? What can I do or say to see this situation from a place of love? And see if that looks different. It should look different. It should feel different. And we hope that you're able to experience that. And our hope for you is the more that you do experience that, the easier it will be to experience it more often. And then it'll become like breathing. It'll be such a natural thing living in your heart and filling it with love and filling yourself with love, that the whole world will be able to see the love that you have to offer.
Yes, and nothing can come of love more than joy and happiness and light. So thank you so much for listening today. We hope you'll come over to the Facebook group, The Butterfly Connection, and also find our guided journaling exercise on our website, www.thebutterflyconnection.com, spelled with a K. And listen, and also find our daily affirmations that we'll have available on our group.
Yes. Please come over and share your stories. We love to hear about how you are leading a life full of love and joy and blessings. As a community, we can all uplift one another and support one another in this way. So many love, light, and blessings to you this week and the weeks to come.
Yes. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you for listening to The Butterfly Connection with Molly Rahe-Randall and Sara Courtney.
Check out our website at thebutterflyconnection.com and download our free weekly guided journaling exercises.
We would love to hear from you. Subscribe to our podcast and give us a review. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest.
And join us next week for another soul-connecting conversation.